Hi, Tracy. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Beautiful. And thank you so very much for being here. We had some troubles making this work, but you exercise patience, of which I love. Thank you so very much. And you see, now I'm about to recite my anthem. And I use the word anthem because I say these words often to all of my guests. So, firstly, Tracy, I want to thank you for two things. Number one, I want to thank you for investing in yourself. You see, Tracy, you are on this platform right now because you invested in yourself. And oftentimes, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, Tracy, some months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, there was this tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry, and I just walked past it. But you see, Tracy, just recently I was on that same road, and this time around a lot has changed about the tree. You see, the tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and instantly I got the urge to move closer to the tree. And when I got closer, Tracy, it wowed me because this time around the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it and beautiful green leaves and healthy branches. And you see, not just mangoes, but ripe mangoes. So it was a beautiful moment that day. I kept on staring and staring and staring. You know, it was really, really beautiful. My point is the fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing person that you are today. That alone has made it really impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you see you got the request from me to be on the show. Because I was attracted to the fruit of your work and of your philosophies, your insight, and all that you're doing to make the world a better place. It's amazing. So I want to say thank you for investing in yourself. And secondly, thank you so very much for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing I could do about it. Beautiful. Let's get started. You see, I am quite excited to have you on the show today, Tracy, for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a good one, a better one, it takes the application of knowledge. And not just knowledge, but the application of it. And you see, Tracy, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. The second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing Tracy on the show is for the sake of the audience. Tracy, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of informations flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, eye-opening, powerful, educating information. And I'm totally convinced, Tracy, that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, Tracy, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or professional journey. We are just so curious right now. We want to know how Tracy got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Tracy, over to you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. My journey has been one that has been very spiritually led, or as I say, God led. When my son was diagnosed with autism, like 17 years ago now, I was led in a direction of addressing his underlying conditions to get him to a functioning state. And I met so many angels on my path, on my journey, that led me to healing those underlying conditions so Noah could actually function. And I don't state that claim of changing or curing or anything, just so he could have a full, healthy life with no limitations. Today he's 19 years old and he is fully functional. He works, he drives, he travels on his own. He goes to school. He does everything that I ever wanted him to do. And so in that, my son gave me purpose. And I went back to school for alternative medicine and got my degree. And, then I wrote my book, Warrior Mom, A Mother's Journey in Healing Her Son with Autism. And from that, I started a nonprofit organization to help educate parents on addressing those underlying conditions. And I also started a conference. So it's like every free minute that I have, it just seems to be filled with making a difference in the lives of these families and these parents and their children, which is really important to me. After I got my son functioning and he was doing really well, it was just a dream of mine to share this with the world and to help other parents do the same. And I feel I've definitely accomplished those goals on many levels. And, it doesn't end there. So I keep continuing to work at it. I currently run the nonprofit organization and the conference, and it's very rewarding.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you see, you use some of my favorite words. The one that caught my attention was help. You said you're helping parents, and that's a beautiful one because when you come out of a particular challenge triumphantly and you make use of the solution that you've gotten from overcoming that challenge to help others, then it just tells one single thing, that that person has a very good heart, because not many people has the understanding or would even want to willfully want to help others who might be suffering from that same situation. So you are using a solution now to even help other people. That's a brilliant one. And Earth is really, really blessed to have you. So thank you for all that you're doing. So for folks who do not have the understanding of what autism means and how it functions, like the symptoms, the characteristics and all, can you please explain that to them?
So there's a broad spectrum. You've got different functionalities in autism. I've never seen one individual that is the same. So typically it inhibits their ability to sometimes communicate. There's behaviors, there's abnormal play, there's sensory disorders. It's a combination of things. A lot of it really stems when they find that a child's not communicating or they're not speaking is usually a clear sign that something's wrong, and to get them evaluated. It took me years to figure it out because I just had a pediatrician that said, your son just needs speech, and just kept blowing me off. So that was a big reason why I wrote the book, was, to also tell parents, hey, if this is what's going on, then you need to get a proper evaluation and you need to address it, because early intervention is key. So I was able to regain my son's speech through eating real food, by addressing his gut issues, because there's a direct connection from the gut to the brain via the nervous system. So if you address those gut issues and nutrition and what they're not absorbing, he had been on so many different antibiotics over a long period of time, then you're able to unfog the brain, because we are what we eat sometimes. And I can tell you, when I eat clean, I'm clear-minded. When I eat sugary foods or garbage, then I'm not so clear-minded. But all of this can make a huge difference. But early intervention to regain speech is really important. Motor skills, sometimes they lack motor skills and coordination, strength. They develop later than other kids. Their potty training is not so on point. Cognitively, they're not comprehending things the way you or I do at a higher functioning level. It is really a broad spectrum, but any of these things that, any of these questions that parents might be asking themselves, and this is what I always tell parents: if your gut is telling you something, or you have, your intuition is saying something's not right, this is God's way of speaking to you. And we might think that God is too busy to speak to us, but he speaks to us all the time. And I believe that those are the ways that he gets through to us. So when I wrote my book, I wrote it as a story of hope and inspiration. I mean, me and my husband, we had lost his business and everything. Our house went into foreclosure, everything. I bartered for treatments. I negotiated. I did whatever I had to do because I set a clear intention that Noah was going to live a normal functioning life. And beyond that, I was able to accomplish that goal because I never allowed any obstacles to stand in my way. So I wanted parents to be inspired. So I wrote the story to inspire parents. Part two is really, what are those questions you should be asking yourself? How is autism defined today? And, what are some different treatments and therapies and so on and so forth that you could look into? And then part three is really all about addressing those underlying conditions. The worst thing that could ever happen, because there's no contraindications to biomedical intervention, is that they'll be healthy. So regardless, you get a healthy child out of it. You want your child to be healthy because for the brain to be healthy, the body has to be healthy. So I wrote all that in my book, Warrior Mom, A Mother's Journey in Healing Her Son with Autism. You can get it pretty much wherever books are sold online, any Amazon, Barnes and Noble, I mean, you name it. Even overseas, internationally, you can order the book online. If they want a signed copy, they can go to warriormom.com and I can send them a signed copy. But my biggest baby these days is really, the conference and educating parents. Because I feel coming together as a community, because a lot of times when your child is diagnosed with autism, there's a sense of feeling alone in the world. Like, how does my child fit in? How do I fit in? How does this get to look in my life? What kind of support do I have? And that's how I felt back then. So I wanted to give parents this support. I wanted to give them the tools to be successful. They can utilize those tools however they wish. And, then they gain their purpose. Because a big thing is I tell everyone, you can look at a bad situation as a bad situation. Woe is me, feel sorry for me, my kids get autism. Or you can take that and step back for a moment and say, what can I learn from that? What do I have to learn from this experience? Because I'm a very spiritual person. So I realize that through God, we are here as little pieces of God to experience life, the good, the bad, the ugly. And what do we choose? Because we're always at choice. What do we choose to do with that experience? So that's the important thing, because you can choose to wallow in your own self-pity, or you can do what I did. You can suck the tears back up into your eyes and you can just get to work. But I'm here to tell you, first and foremost, there is no one pill fixes all. And if you're out to just fix these kids, that's not how it works. If you're geared to giving them the best life possible, however that gets to look, health-wise, physically, emotionally, then you're headed in the right direction. Because, I always say where your mind goes, energy flows. And you truly have to believe that your child can live a fully functioning life, right down to a cellular level. And then you have to get to work because, the saying, God helps those who help themselves. Nothing's going to happen if you're just sitting back and waiting for it to happen. So manifesting is more than just visualizing. You got to be a doer as well. And for those parents who tell me, their kids only eat chicken nuggets and pizza and they can't take it away from them. Well, I'm like, they're eating it because you're giving it to them. So I'm not the best coach for those parents, unfortunately. I wish them well. They're on their own beautiful journey. They truly are. But I worked hard to get my son where he is today. And even today, he's still very immunocompromised. So, we work on boosting his immune system, keeping him healthy. He goes to the gym 3 days a week, and watching his nutrition, which as a 19-year-old, they don't do that as much as they do when they're little. So it's all a work in progress, and every stage is different. You're going to battle with ignorant people. You're going to battle with schools. You're going to battle with doctors and, whatever. But it was my job to be Noah's warrior mom, but not every parent is a warrior mom. So it takes a very special parent to do so.
That's right. That's right. You're very correct. And thank you for answering all of my questions. All the questions I have on the list, you've answered them all. I was wondering how you knew the next question from the next one to the next one to the next one to the last one. Thank you. Okay, so to bring this to an end, Tracy, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those folks who would like to reach out to you, or even ask you questions about this topic, or learn more about everything we've discussed so far, how can that be possible?
Well, on any journey, count your blessings. My son has been a huge blessing to me. He has given me strength, and he has not only made me a warrior mom, but he has given me purpose. So if you look beyond the trials and tribulations of life in general, and you take in the experience and what it is that you can learn and how you can be a powerful creator, how you can speak out, how you can educate other families, then life will look a whole lot different. I always tell people, if they read my book, because everything, all my knowledge for the most part is in my book, or attend the conference. Our next conference is April 10th through 11th and 12th in San Diego. And they can, go through autismhealth.com, and click on the conference tab. Or they can reach out to me at tracy@autismhealth.com or tracy@warriormom.com. Either one is fine. They both work. And that's TRAC. But it's, you got to gain as much knowledge as possible, because knowledge is truly powerful in these kids' lives. Earlier intervention is key, but there's so much for individuals, adults with autism as well, to get to a healthy space and create a better life for themselves.
Well, that's true. Okay, what about your contact info, maybe your website? I think you mentioned it earlier, did you?
Yep. So tracy@autismhealth.com or tracy@warriormom.com.
Okay, beautiful. So that's going to be the end of the show, Tracy. Thank you for coming, and thank you for opening our eyes to these things. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for everything that you do, and many blessings to you all.